Last week we discussed that a video game needs three vital components to be a video game. A clearly defined objective, clearly defined rules, and a great system of feedback to help you understand how you're doing within the parameters of those rules. Now I'm going to talk about three other vital components of video games this week: narrative, time, and space. Time and space are two components that video games can pull off better than any other medium. You can't execute time or space as well as you can in video games in television, movies, books, anything. Now, like always, we're going to be discussing genre as well as why this game can execute narrative, time, and space so well, why it's exemplary of its place in the evolutionary chain of video games as a way to convey time, space, and narrative. Now, I'm going to start with Myst. Now, a brief sort of synopsis of what you can expect from Myst is that it is a puzzle adventure game packaged in a pseudo 3D environment made of pre-rendered images and pre-rendered animations. You click down it, not unlike navigating a Google Street View, right, to the next pre-rendered image, to explore a faux 3D space that nonetheless is executed properly as a 3D space. It's navigable. Your mind can perceive it as a 3D space. It's off-putting at first to modern gamers, sure, to click and then just kind of jitter down the hallway. But it is a successful 3D space. And because it's a 3D space that you can spend as much time as you need, because you need a lot of time in Myst to solve all these crazy puzzles, you just go like, why? Successful execution of time, locking you in a room with a puzzle, because it's a space to be in. As soon as you have a space to dwell within, suddenly time becomes a factor.
Because you yourself perceive the passage of time, whether or not it has an effect directly on the real world. Myst wasn't changing from day to night. You weren't aging or time, nothing was really time sensitive. But you as a player were feeling actual time, and that was a part of your experience with the game. You see,
because Myst executed space so well, it also managed to execute time well. And apart from because you were stuck with obscenely hard puzzles, you really were feeling how long you'd been in this room with this lever and this pulley, wondering what to do. If I go back and read that paper on the wall, it's probably got the code of the... Moving right along on our spectrum, we've got Doom, the grandfather of all shooters. And, I guess you could make the argument for horror. So welcome to Doom, the discussion on Doom, the grandfather of all modern shooters. You see, Doom did 3D for the first time. Pretty much anyone had been experiencing that. See, I was experiencing 3D in the real sense, being able to move one-to-one on an X, Y, and Z axis for the very, very first time in Doom. Granted, the enemies were still 2D cutouts, and so were the items, and that was a lot of fun and really hokey looking now. But it managed to execute what Myst was doing earlier in a more sophisticated, more fluid, and I would argue more immersive because of it, way. Doom wasn't really very heavy on narrative, though. It was kind of just, like, shoot the demons. Anyway, in much the same way that Myst accomplished space and time so well, Doom did sort of too. Doom had an advanced sense of space because of its advanced graphic capabilities, its processing capabilities, allowing it to be an actually realized 3D game. And when I can be in a space, I will spend time in a space. I mean, so long as that space is also full of a goal or objective, rules, a system of feedback. Moving right along to what I'm most excited about, though, is Fez. Fez is sort of the missing link, right, between games like Myst and games like Doom, even though it's come out very recently, just within the last year, I suppose, summer before last now. You see, Fez is a game where narrative is intimately bound to the space and time exploration of the game. Fez is atmospheric. There are no enemies. It's just sort of ambient, beautiful, beautiful music. Honestly, go to disasterpiece.com, his Bandcamp thing, and listen to his soundtrack and all the remixes and everything else he's done. It's brilliant. Bah! Fez is, of this list, the truest, most brilliant, amazing, wow interpretation of time, space, and narrative in a video game, married beautifully with an objective, clearly defined rules, and an excellent system of feedback. It is exemplary, and because of it, it's one of the best video games I've ever played. The narrative of Fez is very, very simple. This giant god cube has exploded. You need to get it all the pieces back together or else reality will collapse with you in it. No. Time and space, intimately bound, as we've discussed with the previous two games, are exemplified here amazingly. You see, the exploration of space is a brand new... in Fez, you explore space in a brand new, hitherto unforetold way, in that you are a two-dimensional creature that has gained the ability to flip the world at 90-degree angles to see everything from four sides, essentially perceiving it three-dimensionally, which is brilliant. At that point, when enemies aren't a factor and exploration becomes everything, you want to spend time exploring this space. There's not a genre for this. Sure, it's an adventure puzzler, but it's like an experience. I don't want to put... You can have any sort of experience you want with Fez. Fez has been unnerving. Fez has been hilarious. It's been enraging. There's such a myriad of emotions, this cocktail of experiences that you can have within Fez, that it defies genre at certain points. Sure, it's a puzzle exploration game, because you're primarily exploring and solving, but it's so much more than that, and it's just, you got to play it. And I'm really depressed that they canceled the sequel. Phil Fish.